All right, so I'll go ahead and bring up the keynote presentation. How many of you guys are here specifically to hear about wholesaling? All right, okay, wonderful, good. So this is a great way to get started in real estate. So we call this buying properties for pennies on the dollar. This strategy is a great strategy for getting started. What we love about this strategy, it is really and truly the only zero money strategy out there where you can make a lot of money as a real estate investor and not have to have any money to get started. It does, however, and this is what I think confuses a lot of people, is it does, however, require a fair amount of knowledge about real estate to be a successful wholesaler and stay a successful wholesaler. What does that mean? That means you have to be really good at the marketing part. And a lot of you guys need to be out there doing more marketing. A lot of times I'll talk to a new investor and they're like, oh yeah, I want to wholesale. And I ask the same question every time. Well, what are you doing for your marketing? And they kind of look at me like the penguin. Haven't really, no. Well, then guess what? You're not a wholesaler unless you're marketing. We talk about over 60 different marketing strategies. There's no silver bullet when it comes to real estate investing and when it comes to marketing. That's why you have to use several different types of strategies. And we'll introduce those to you over the course of our 3-day training. And we do talk about them a lot at our monthly meetings as well. But you've got to be doing marketing in order to be able to even get those leads that you can now do sales and negotiation with. So sales and negotiation is a critical responsibility for any real estate wholesaler. What does that mean? That means you need to understand the real estate math behind putting a property under contract, what those numbers are, and what the right price to get something under contract is. You also have to be good at putting those or filling out the actual TREC contract. So the TREC contract that we use here in Texas is a 10-page contract. Now, it's 10 pages, and I think that intimidates a lot of people, but the truth is, it's kind of Mad Lib style, so you get to kind of just fill in the blank, and they give you some good context clues as you go through. But there are about 70 different blanks to actually be able to fill in. And if you're not familiar with it, I highly recommend take some time, familiarize yourself with that contract, because you don't want to be trying to explain it to someone while you're reading it for the first time on a deal that might make you $20,000, right? So take the time to go through it. If there's something that is confusing you, again, keep reading on. You should be able to get some of the context clues to be able to fill it out. I will tell you that most title companies are quite generous with their time in terms of helping you fix some of these contracts that they get that may not be written properly. So know that they're a great person, a great resource to lean on as well. You also have to be really good at the analysis and due diligence. What does that mean? That means finding out what the property is really going to be worth after you fix it up. And that means finding out how much it's actually going to take to be able to fix up this property. So if you combine all those things together, that's a lot of real estate knowledge that you need to have. So even though it's a beginner strategy from the standpoint of how much capital you need to have, it's not a beginner strategy in terms of how much knowledge you need to have and how many resources you need to have. Yet all of that can be overcome. We'll go through that as we go through this presentation. But what I love about this strategy is it is the foundation. It is the basis of going to other real estate strategies. And I know Phil spent some time tonight talking to you about what some of those other strategies are so that you can familiarize yourself with how many other ways there are to make money as a real estate investor. Some of the benefits for the investor who's getting started, again, practically no barriers to entry, right? You don't have to have a whole lot of money to get started. It's really the ultimate zero money down investing strategy. You get all of the reward and none of the risk. I always say that the wholesaler gets the risk-free profit, and then they pass all of the risk-full profit onto somebody else who's going to take title, who's going to deal with the renovation, who's going to deal with any project or contractor surprises, who's going to deal with the market, right, and how the market changes and where we are in the market cycle at the time that they finish it. It's a great way to generate cash quickly as a wholesaler, being part of a network of other investors that are actively buying properties. Man, do you think you can get your property sold on our listserv? The answer is yes, 100% absolutely. And you found the deal, but you're only in it long enough to get paid, meaning you're not taking on all of the risk that comes along with the remodel, all the risk that comes along with the market and where we are in the market cycle. Great way to gain experience without taking on those risks. And I will tell you, there's nothing that will make you more of a magnet in terms of networking than actually having those deals. Because when you go up to someone and say, hey, I'm just getting started, I don't know anything, I've never done anything, hey, will you help me? How does that sound to you guys? Who is like, yes, sign me up, I would like to be the first, right? But if you go up to someone and say, hey, I don't have a lot of experience, but I'm out there busting my butt doing marketing, and I've got a great lead that I'm looking to wholesale, would you like to help me and buy it from me? Then is everyone answering, yes, I would like to be that person? The answer is 100% you're kind of give this, oh, no, believe me, right? You have a deal, and it's a deal. No, you are a magnet for people to come to you. So get that deal, do that marketing. That's how you build those relationships. The benefit to the buyer at the end of the day, they get a great deal, and they didn't have to do any of the marketing to find it. And it's interesting because as investors are getting started, their obsession, their thought process is that I've got to get the deal in terms of I've got to get the house, as opposed to I've got to do the marketing, I've got to get the leads, I've got to talk to the leads, I've got to sort them out, and I've got to put them under contract. So they just think about the house, and a lot of them think, well, where do I get the house? Oh, I get it from a wholesaler, or I get it from a realtor. And the truth is, you can, but the truth is that it's going to cost you a lot of money getting it from a wholesaler, right? You might pay a wholesaler somewhere between $5,000, $10,000, $20,000 of your profit, right? The creamiest, the best profit that there is in there, because you're not doing the marketing. And once most investors realize, man, I paid that person $10,000 to get that one deal, what would happen if instead I were spending that $10,000 in my own business to do that marketing? Do you think you could get more than one deal? And the answer should be yes. So eventually, as investors get a little bit more seasoned, they go from buying from wholesalers to instead wanting to do all of that marketing themselves to be able to take advantage of the entire value equation that is there. So do know as a wholesaler that you are going to have to constantly be building up that buyer pool, right? So that you can get more folks to be able to wholesale to as well. We'll walk through some of the step-by-step process. So I've got 12 different steps here that we'll go through in individual slides as we walk through this presentation. Again, your first step is doing the marketing. I've got several different marketing strategies that are listed up here for you to be able to find properties. These are some of the strategies that are kind of split between the ones that take a lot of time and the ones that take a lot of money. Now, to be clear, marketing is a problem, and that marketing problem is either solved by throwing time at it or throwing money at it. Everyone will have a different marketing strategy based on how much time they have and based on how much money they have. If you are working 40, 50, 60, 70 plus hours a week, you probably don't have a lot of time to do marketing, but you should have a lot of money to do marketing. If you are not working right now, you may not have any money to do marketing, but you've got a lot of time to throw at that marketing problem. There are plenty of marketing strategies that require no money at all, just a lot of effort, just a lot of time, right? And there are plenty of strategies that require a lot of money. So figure out where you are and then execute one of these strategies that I've got listed up here, whether that's door knocking, driving for dollars, bandit signs, getting your business cards out, putting ads on Craigslist, answering ads on Craigslist, social media, working with realtors, REOs, expired listings, 120-day late listings, magnetic signs. They're so cheap and they work. Internet marketing. This is for those who have a little bit more cash to invest. Mass media, radio, TV, billboards, again, requires a lot of cash. These lists can be quite expensive, but if you're not mailing, you're instead door knocking, it's a great way to make that list go a lot further. After you do your marketing, you'll be getting calls from homeowners. You'll be getting calls from sellers. Please answer your phone. We have a no one answers their phone itis going around. I don't know, it's because we get so many junk calls lately. But please, if you're doing marketing, you're sending the marketing to your phone, answer the call. I don't care where you are. Get it answered, because if you don't answer it, that call, that lead, that opportunity is going to go to someone else. After you get that person on the phone, set up an appointment to see the house. Some of my left brainers who want to do a little bit more armchair investing, and I can respect that, want to go through and ask a bunch of questions before they even say, hey, let me come and see your house. But when you tell someone, hey, I'm interested right away, I want to come and see your house right away, what does that immediately take away? Some of that, it just gives them a sense of relief, and it stops them from calling someone else, which is one of the key things that you want to make sure happens. You don't want them to be calling anyone else. You'll conduct the interview, so you need to find out their motivation. So what I've found is some homeowners have a lot more motivation, obviously, than others. The faster you know their motivation, the faster you can be able to solve their problem, come up with something very creative, and that's what we do. That's what we've learned in our business over the last 15 years. That's where you'll be very successful, solving that problem. And you might be surprised. Many times people think that the solution to the problem is only a price solution. And the truth is, no, the solution to the problem can sometimes be finding a home for a dog. It can be finding a home for them. It can be helping them pack. We have bought so many houses from people who look like they bought everything at the dollar store had to offer for about the last 15 years and put it in bags all over their house. And when they look at their house and it's stacked this high with stuff that is just like emotionally overwhelming to them, you packing it up for them, you putting it in storage for them, you organizing it for them, man, a lot of times that is the actual problem that you're looking to solve. So understand what that is and solve that problem. Again, know that it's not always based on a financial dollar amount. And I will say, always express your interest in buying their house. This is a little bit easier for my right brainers, a little bit harder for my left brainers. My left brainers are like, I don't know if I want to buy your house. I don't know. It sounds like there's a lot of work. I want to go through the numbers. What are you telling that person? What are you signaling to that person? Doubt in yourself and your ability and your desire, right? So what are they going to do? They're going to call somebody else. So until you flip that switch and have them stop calling other people and have them stop answering their phones, you're going to have an issue. So even if you're not sure that you want it, even if you're not sure if it's really a deal, especially when you are just getting started, set the appointment. Go talk to them, because what are you doing when you do that? You're showing interest. What else are you doing? Building rapport. What else are you doing in your business? Experience. Who said that? Experience. What does that mean? I want you guys to be getting experience on some of the stuff that, I really don't know if I want this or not. Why do I want that for you? Why do I want you guys to go and waste your time like that? So you get the feel, so you can understand. Why else? Confidence. Learn. Why else? So you know what qualifies as a good lead, right? What else? So sometimes people refer to Phil and I as Mr. and Mrs. Miyagi. Who's seen the Karate Kid? What did Mr. Miyagi have the Karate Kid do? Wax on and wax off. And what did the Karate Kid say? I don't want to wax your cars anymore. This is a waste of my time. What did Mr. Miyagi say? You guys have not watched the Karate Kid. I'll tell you, no, I don't even know what Mr. Miyagi said. But listen, when he started to kick him and punch him, he was ready, right? He was taking it. He got, yeah, oh, yes, taking the hits and fighting them off, right? So here's why I want you to do this, guys. I want you to practice on the leads that, I'm not really sure this is a good deal. Because when you get in front of a homeowner where you might be able to make $5,000, $10,000, $25,000 wholesaling this deal, do you want to be practicing? No. Brianne, no. I don't want you practicing on the deals that are going to make you a boatload of money. I want you practicing on the ones that don't look that good. Why? Because the last thing that you want to do is practice on the good ones. So get out there, practice on the, just channel Mr. Miyagi. Go rent the Karate Kid. So just like, go do that, every single one of you. And think about, how does this relate to real estate? Because it relates to real estate in a really big way. Because I hear a lot of people think in their minds or say, oh, well, that's a waste of time. There's no money there. No, there's money there. You just have to get through it, right? And some of you guys are going to have a harder time doing that because it takes being open, right? And it takes going after things that may not look on the surface like it's something that looks perfect. But when you get in these situations where you're able to overcome objections now because you were practicing before you got there, you're just going to be that much better. When you get in front of someone and explain, and they ask you, well, how can you offer me 70% of ARV minus repairs, which is what we call the investor maximum allowable offer formula? You're getting 30% profit. You're getting a 30% discount. How are you? Do you want to be explaining that on one that you're actually going to make money on for the first time? No. So get out there, practice, even if it doesn't look like it's a great deal. Set that appointment, flip that switch, be the first person to get in front of them, the first person to talk to them. Analysis and due diligence. Again, so this is where my left brainers and my right brainers kind of go in different directions. So for my left brainers all want to do their analysis and due diligence before they get to the property, okay? For my right brainers, no, they're already out to the property while the left brainers are still analyzing everything, okay? You can do a pretty good analysis over the phone while you're talking to them, even the first time. So try to get that analysis done, get that address, figure out what the value of that property is. The best way to figure out the value of that property is by getting a CMA from a good investor-friendly realtor. Tax records, kind of a last resort. I say Zillow and Trulia never, but the truth is the first time that we put that address into our search engine to see what the house looks like, what's the first thing that's going to come up? Zillow thinks, Redfin thinks, Trulia thinks, all these different resources for finding out what the value is. Now, one of the things you guys need to be aware of is this. Texas is a right to privacy state, which means that the sales prices here in Texas are not published anywhere unless they happened with a realtor on the MLS, okay? What is published in the county records is how much was borrowed on the property if there is a note and if there is a deed of trust. The borrowing amount doesn't always correlate to the sales amount, okay? Zillow, Redfin, Trulia, they're all directional, but they might be off by 5 or 10 or more percent, okay? If your ARV, according to Zillow, is 10% higher than what the true ARV is, what have you, and you contracted based on that price, or you purchased based on that price, you're in trouble, okay? You're in trouble. You overpaid for it. If it is less than, meaning if the Zillow value is less than what the true value is, so let's say the true house value is 200 and Zillow says it's only worth 180, you've made an offer now based on that 180. How likely is it that you're actually going to get that property if an owner is talking to other investors and offering higher because they see the real value is 200? So Zillow can either slap you in the back after you actually do the deal, right? Or it can slap you in the front, meaning you're not even going to come close to getting the deal because your numbers are so off. Now, Some of you guys, when you're just getting started, you might not have that investor-friendly realtor on your team, okay? And you may feel like, I don't know how to get that. And I understand that. So here's what I will say. And this is hard for me to say. This is uncomfortable for me to say because I don't want you to make a mistake by it. So I want to be very specific. You guys can contract on a Redfin, Zillow, Trulia price. You just cannot close on a Redfin, Trulia, Zillow price. What does that mean? Get it under contract, right? With an option period so that you can go back and renegotiate it after you've had your investor-friendly realtor do what? Give you the real comps, okay? So, and I say that because I'm nervous about saying that to you guys because I don't want you to mess up and then again find out later that you screwed something up. You better get that investor-friendly realtor to very quickly as possible, get those real numbers for you, okay? And this is only important if you want to make money as a real estate investor. None of you guys will be successful unless you have an investor-friendly realtor on that power team, period. Now, that doesn't mean that you need to be the investor-friendly realtor. So I see a lot of new real estate investors think, oh, I got to get my realtor's license. Okay, who are my realtors in the room? Any realtors in the room? What did you learn about real estate investing in realtor school? Nothing. Oh, what a shocker. You know how I knew that I was safe for me to ask that question? Because I've asked that question hundreds of times, and guess what the answer always is? Nothing. So don't go to realtor school thinking, oh, they're going to teach me about real estate investing in realtor school. Now, this one's a little bit trickier. What did you learn about real estate in realtor school?
Well, in my licensing coursework, enough to pass the test. My first broker was phenomenal, but to be licensed.
You learn how to pass the test, okay? I'll tell you one of the questions in my real estate exam was, how many cubic yards of cement does it take to pour a 2-car driveway? Which I know for me personally as a real estate investor, that's math that I use every day. That would be a joke. Like, come on, really? You learn how to pass it. You learn ridiculous information, right? So don't think, oh, I'm going to go to realtor school and I'm going to get all the answers. You will be disappointed, right? Work with someone who's already gone to realtor school and who is already disappointed. And sometimes I'll hear investors say, well, I want to save money on fees, right? And you can save money on fees if you are a realtor, okay? But remember, you have to go through all of the steps to become a realtor, which is probably today maybe about $2,000 and maybe 2 to 4 weeks of time, depending on if you do it online or whether you do it live and in person, right? And depending on if you have already taken college classes, as an example. So, and a lot of investors who become realtors later on say, I'm going to give up my license because I don't want to continue to pay these fees. But for those of you guys who are saying to yourself, like, I want to save money, then I want to just kind of carry this thought process further and say, if the objective is to save money, then after you get your realtor's license, you should go and get your electrician's license. Well, no, because it costs about $8,000 to rewire a house. You could save money by being... And then after that, your HVAC tech's license, because to put in a new air conditioning system is anywhere from $5,000 to $8,000, depending on whether or not you need to redo all the vents in the ceiling, right? And I mean, that's real savings, right? And then after you get that, why don't you learn how to put on a roof, and then do the You guys, this is funny. I'm going to tell you. There's like going to be. I'm going to insert a laugh track on this thing after you guys leave here. But guys, don't think like that. Instead, you need to be thinking about getting that deal. Don't have that scarcity mentality. Have that abundance mentality. Focus on getting that deal. That's where your true efforts should be focused, and that's where your true value lies, and that's where the true profits lie. So get a great realtor on your team. You don't have to be the great realtor. Now, also part of the analysis and due diligence. What question do you ask when you're trying to figure out what the condition of the property is? If you got money to fix some aspect of the house, what would you fix? What else? Yes, sir.
Why are you selling?
Why are you selling? When we're talking about repairs, though. It's okay.
Are there any cracks in the ceiling?
Are there any cracks in the ceiling? Yes, sir. What does it take to bring? So you think they're a 2019 expert? No. So, your question, I've heard people say like, hey, if money was no object, what would you? No. I wrote it up here. No, what's wrong with the house? Is that subjective? Is that a subjective question? Many of you guys have been asking subjective questions. What kind of questions do you need to ask? Objective questions. You asked this question very specifically. Brianne, you just said it. When was the last time you replaced the air conditioning unit? When was the last time you replaced the roof? When was the last time you updated the kitchen? When was the last time you updated the bathrooms? When was the last time you painted the house? Are those objective questions? Yeah, those are dates, right? If you are looking at other houses that are selling in that neighborhood, and you're seeing that all of those houses have new kitchens and new bathrooms and new windows and new air conditioning units, and the person that you're talking to says they haven't updated anything since 1987, what do you know?
A lot of things.
Yeah, well, you're able to put a dollar value on all of those different things. But if you just say, hey, what's the condition of your house, that's not going to give you a good objective answer, because people live at different levels, right? But there are only a few levels that actually sell, that cream to the crop, right? So ask them that question. That's the best way to figure that out while being on the phone. And that way, if you've got that, you can actually make a preliminary offer on the phone. What is our real estate investor maximum allowable offer formula? 70% of the ARV minus repairs. 70% of the ARV minus repairs, where ARV stands for after repair value. What does that mean? That means the comps. So if the comps are all selling in that neighborhood for $300,000, then you'll offer $300,000 times 70%, which is $210,000, minus whatever repairs are needed on that property. So if $60,000 are needed in repairs, you'll offer $150,000. That's the real estate investor maximum allowable offer formula. But let's go back to how do you make the offer? What do you say? What do you say? How do you ask that? How do you start that? How do you start that conversation? You said it. You just said it. You just tell them, here's what I'm going to pay. I've calculated everything. I've run it through my spreadsheet. This is the 70% of ARV minus repairs offer formula. Here you go. Hello? What do you say?
How much do you want to sell your house for?
How much do you want to sell your house for? What are you looking to get? What are you looking to get? When you say that, what are you looking for? What are you looking for?
Desperation.
To see if they'll offer you something less than what you already think.
Occasionally, as in 1 in 100, their number will be lower than your number. Okay? When that magic moment happens, what do you say?
Right now.
You're like, would you like cash or cash? Come on, guys. Come on, guys. What do you say?
Oh, is it flat?
Write this down. This is my favorite thing to say. Did I get that?
We can't write that
Does anybody want me to spell it?
down. Yeah. Spell it for us.
So we just
No, you don't stall.
we just like
No. Is there buyer and seller psychology? Is there buyer remorse? Is there seller remorse? If you say, Brianne was like, sold! So if you say that, what are they thinking? I can see that, Brianne, and I love that about you. But if
They know that they can get more.
no, they're like, oh man, I should have asked for more. Okay? Now, are they going to have the guts to tell you, I want a do-over on that? Are they going to tell you, well, hey, I've thought about it? No? What are they going to do?
They're going to stall.
What are they going to do? What are they going to do? Going to try and back out?
Stall. They're going to talk to other people.
but let me check for such and such.
Oh, let me talk to my wife. Let me talk to
Yeah.
You guys are giving people really the benefit of the doubt, which I love about every single one of you. That's really awesome.
They're gonna hang up.
You live in this magical world where no one stops texting you back, where no one stops answering your calls, where no one stops answering your emails. They are going to ghost you. Okay? That's what's going to happen. Yes? Right? Because they don't have the courage to tell you, oh shoot, now I got to renegotiate. Right? So you have to fulfill, you have to satisfy their seller psychology. Right? So asking them, sir, you said, is that the best you could do? Now, if you're doing the happy dance, like, just make sure you're not on FaceTime or anything like that, right? But you have to satisfy that seller psychology. That's one way to do it. Now, it's not uncommon for you to think in your mind, or you've calculated my number's 150, and they come back and they tell you what? 225, right? Now, what are they doing if they come in and tell you 225? They either don't know, which is not uncommon, or they're anchoring, and they're anchoring high, okay? So it doesn't mean that that's the number that you're going to end on. That's just the starting point. So at least everybody has a starting point. Can you make that offer over the phone? The answer is yes. Now, even if you're on the phone and it doesn't sound like, oh no, we're too far apart, and this is one of the number one ways that new investors just don't go after it, okay? And you guys all need to go after it. So some new investors will say, oh, it wasn't a deal, they wanted too much. And that's their excuse that allows them to walk away and feel good about it. Okay? That does not put food on the table. That does not pay the electric bills. That will not get you paid. Still have the courage to go after it. Still have the courage to have those conversations. Still have the courage to push, even if it feels uncomfortable. This is your lesson, one of your many lessons from the evening from Mrs. Miyagi, if there had been a Mrs. Miyagi, okay? Keep pushing. Keep asking questions. Even if your numbers are close, set up an appointment to bring over the docs. Now, for me, I like to send everything via DocuSign, or the new thing that I'm actually liking even more than DocuSign right now. Has anyone in here used HelloSign? Does anyone use HelloSign? So HelloSign is actually a little bit better than DocuSign in that DocuSign, you have to click and scroll and click and scroll, and it takes a full 45 seconds. With HelloSign, and it's a little annoying, especially when you got a 10-page document, right? So with HelloSign, basically HelloSign says, hey, you just signed your name here and you just put your initials here. Would you like it if I just went ahead and inserted your signature and initials everywhere in this document so that you don't have to go through and scroll? Well, yes, hello sign. I would love to save 43 seconds of give them 43 seconds of my time back. And guess what? Are they reading any of this? They're not reading it with DocuSign anyway, right? But with hello sign, they're really not reading it, right? Because it's just too damn convenient to not have to read, right? So it's a great tool, one that I'm loving to use right now. So once you meet with the sellers, you'll re-estimate the repairs on the spot. So sometimes when you go through and ask those questions, you'll miss some things. Some key questions, I gave you kind of the basic one, the simple one. A lot of the question that a lot of people miss is, do you have any children in the repairs? And do you have any pets? Can children and pets do a little bit, even if like, oh yeah, I replaced my carpet just a couple of years ago. And you walk in and you find out they have 15 animals.
Oh, no.
Yeah. I didn't rescue them. They rescued me. Edit that out. All right, I gotta focus. So you may have to adjust if you find something like that. I have personally, that's one of the things that I've added to my interview script, because I have been in situations where I've walked into houses where, yes, they've had 25 pets. So be sure to ask that question when you're interviewing them. Sign the agreement if you didn't already via DocuSign, or if you didn't via Hello Sign. I put a lockbox on the house because I don't know about you, but the Austin traffic is really terrible. And sometimes when you are working properties, and I remember when I first got started in real estate, my first year in real estate, I put 25,000 miles on my car that year. And I come from like putting like 10 to 12,000 miles a year on my car. So I was really working the second shift, and I remember when I told you guys, don't say no to any opportunity, right? Go work it until it is dead, right? That's what I did. That was part of what made me successful. Being able to talk to all of these homeowners helped me create a list of objections so that I could overcome them, so I was not practicing when it came to the person I really needed to talk to, okay? But, you know, when I first got started, I had properties that were from Dripping Springs to Georgetown, okay? So what I became very good at is buying these $20 combo lock boxes at the Home Depot, and I would order them like 20 at a time online, right? And I would get them, and I would just put them on each of the houses, and I would leave them there. Especially if you're wholesaling, you don't want to like have to meet a seller out there when it's 4 o'clock, 5 o'clock. Well, hell, from traffic from 8 a.m. until 8 p.m. traffic, right? So put a lockbox on there, then you won't have to go back and forth to the house. And guys, really quickly, does anybody have a buzzer that has not yet gone off? Anyone have a buzzer that? So we've got 2 buzzers that have not gone off. So Graham's in the back. The iPads for membership are free, so they can get you in and out really quickly if you want to go and get signed up for membership now. And if there's anyone who was on the fence about membership but has now decided, hey, yeah, I should go and do that, there's a lot of good content here. Step out and see Graham. He'll have you in and out super fast. You get the blueprints, you get tickets to our 3-day training, and all the other benefits of the association. Thank you. So again, we talked about this a little bit earlier today. We use the Trek 1-to-4 family contract. That's the contract that I recommend for you guys when you're getting properties under contract. That's the best one. It covers for everything. Take or email that contract to the title company. Let them know that the deal will be assigned. To be clear, you're going to write 2 checks at the time that you go under contract. You'll write one check that is the earnest money check. The earnest money check goes to the title company. It's written out to the title company. You'll write another check that is for your option fee. The option fee goes to the seller. At the time that you give that check to the seller, go ahead and have the seller sign on the last page of the contract that they received that option fee. Earnest money, they will notate that at the time that they take that at the title company. Many people are wiring money to the title company so they don't have to go, and just obviously emailing the contracts to the title company, so again, they don't have to go. Now, some real estate investors, some people in general, get a little lazy when it comes to the earnest money. So a lot of times they'll put put earnest money in the contract. They will send or email the contract to the title company, but they will not take the earnest money. What happens if you don't take the earnest money to the... Okay, so everyone say hello to my munchkin Zilker. Zilker, yeah. So Zilker's on summer break, which means he's working for me. So thank you for help getting folks signed up today. Appreciate that. So he just told me how much I owed him because I have him working on a commission basis. So he also likes to be paid in Brianne, cash, right? Now is good, yes, right? So thank you for helping out everybody tonight. I appreciate it. I'm going to finish here and then yeah. I got to finish up here, baby, and then we'll take off, okay? Thank you. So if you don't bring the contract and the earnest money to the title company, you have what's called, what kind of a contract? No, it's not void. Voidable, right? That means if the seller wanted to, they can say, you said in the contract that you were going to bring the earnest money and the contract to the title company within 3 days. You never did this. They can call and check. How do they know? Bran. Oh, this is a good question. I was going to skip past this, but you're going to make me go into this. This is good. Why would a seller know? Under what circumstance might a seller even ask this question? Someone else came along and offered them more money. So if I would come in right after you and you put it under contract, I would ask the question, did they take the contract to the title company with earnest money? Let's call and figure that out. Now would be good. Yes? Yeah. Because a lot of investors, and even non-investors too. I mean, ask any realtor in the room. It's like, who's going to take the title, the earnest money over to the title company? Oh my gosh, it's like a 45-minute drive there and back, right? Nobody wants to do it. That happens all the time. Okay. When they want to, yes, but everybody's lazy. Yes. Can you speak? Yeah.
Most good title companies will courier it now.
Yeah.
So you don't have to be lazy, you just have to make arrangements.
They'll make arrangements with their agents that are producing. If it is your first contract, I don't know who you are or what this is going to be, and you're telling me you're going to sign it, like, see that? Yes, sir.
Structuring this as a double, right? So
you have two options when it comes to closing. You can either do a straight assignment to where there's only one close, or you can do two closes. The criteria I use for one close or straight assignment is anytime you're making less than $10,000, you can do a straight assignment, okay? Anytime you're making more than 20, and you don't know the person you're assigning it to, you're probably going to want to do two closes, okay? Between $10,000 and $20,000, it just kind of depends on your risk tolerance and whether or not you want to buy an insurance policy, right? Having the double close is an insurance policy that the buyer won't freak out when they find out how much money you're making. So you have to decide, and that is a personal decision on how you want to run your insurance, right? Are you the person who gets the $500 deductible on your house, or are you the person who gets the 1%, or what's the lowest I can pay on my deductible? That's going to tell me which risk profile you land in and under what circumstances you would do an assignment and just a single close or a double close where you're making. And I usually say anytime you're making, if the adjective that you use before the amount of money that you're making is like, I'm making a ridiculous amount of money, yeah, you better be buying that insurance policy, which is 2 closings. You have to pay for it twice. That's the insurance policy you're buying, if you will, in order to protect that ridiculous amount of money that you're making. Yes?
Is that the reason why real estate people usually have two closings? Most real estate people?
Not most real estate people. I wouldn't say that most real estate people do, but when you're making a ridiculous, obnoxious, and amazing, that if that's the adjective that you're using in front of how much money you're making, then yeah, you're going to do 2 closes to protect that. But if you're just making $5,000 or $10,000, you're usually just going to do one close. Yes, sir.
The earnest and option monies, those are negotiable, correct?
100%. Yes. No. Now, a lot of real estate agents will tell you that there are, okay? So when you are reselling that property and you've got a perfect property in perfect condition and you're selling on the MLS, most real estate agents are going to like to see 1% of your sales price in terms of your earnest money. So on a $300,000 house, you're going to put $3,000 in earnest money, okay? Most real estate agents are going to say they want to see somewhere between $100 and $300 for option money in order to get a 7-day option period, okay? That's for the perfect house on the MLS, okay? When you're buying the houses that we buy as real estate investors, these are houses that are not perfect, okay? These are houses that have title issues that need to be worked on. I've literally had someone try to sell me a house that they did not own, okay? Okay? That doesn't happen very often in traditional real estate. It happens all the time as a real estate investor. Literally, like Phil was talking to a woman one time, and she said to him, it was really cute. I mean, we got shut down immediately. She's like, I need to sell my house. Phil's like, wonderful, I'm buying. Yes, yes. And she's like, well, I need to sell it by, this is like Wednesday. She's like, well, I need to sell it by Friday. And Phil's like, okay, well, kind of wants to know what's going on here. So what's the motivation? And Phil just kept like driving in. And the woman finally said, well, I need to sell it by Friday because my husband's coming home on Friday. Well, where is he coming home from? Well, from a business trip with his secretary. So in her mind, forgetting that Texas community property state, right? She wanted to sell the house before that, got back home, right? So I had one gentleman try and sell me a house, and he was not on title, but he had made it very clear that he had an arrangement with the person on title. And again, we're digging in, just want to make sure we're getting the right kind of situation here. As it turned out, he was the drug dealer to the person that had it on had title to it, and that was the payoff for a drug debt. Yeah. So it's like I'm not an attorney, but that's not how this is going to. So when we are buying investment property, a lot of issues, right? $10 earnest, $10 option, very common. Okay. Now the only time I've ever gotten pushback on $10 earnest and $10 option is from a realtor friend who was helping a seller. And the realtor friend was there, and they're like, Shanoa, you are a realtor and a broker. You know that the typical earnest money is 1%. You know the typical option money is $100. And I said, yes, but you know that the typical house has indoor plumbing. Subject property does not. Okay? So that's kind of fun things you get to say as a real estate agent, as a real estate investor. But then once I said that agent kind of just shut the hell up and let the transaction go on and stopped advising the friend and just, because that house was only going to get sold to an investor. Because a regular retail buyer with a regular retail loan, guess what? That's an uninhabitable house, right? You go make it habitable for me, and then yes, I will pay you that 1%, and So that's the only time you get pushback in my experience. All right. moving forward. So you'll market the property to buyers. Where are you going to find your buyers list? We have so many buyers as part of the Investor Association, other landlords in the area, hard money lenders, IRA events. You need to give your buyer the stats, the ARV on the property, the repairs that are needed, and the rents. Because the reason why I say the rents is because some buyers want to buy, fix, and flip. Some buyers want to buy and hold. Your more premium buyers are your buy and hold buyers because they don't have to get that super low discount at that 70% of ARV minus repairs and force that value in a 6-month period because they're looking to hold it for 2 years, 5 years, 10 years, right? They can wait for that value to come back up. And always put in your wholesale fee in your price. Oh my gosh, I've had some new wholesalers who did not do that and then want to try and negotiate with me at the closing table what their wholesale fee is. And it's like, no, so please just tell them what the whole price is, not just part of the price. Meet your buyers at the property or send them with the combo code. Now, I will say, guys, to be clear, protect yourself. Number one, and this sounds ridiculous, but I have to say it because I have seen investors. I saw one investor try and sell a property, and I just stop her. She was like, well, I don't have it under contract, and I'm like, real estate investors have no code of ethics. None. No required. I'm not saying that they don't have ethics, but real estate agents, we have a code of ethics, and if we don't adhere to it, we're out. There's no such animal, there's no such document, there's no such requirement for real estate investors, right? So you want to and you don't know who you're working with a lot of times. So protect yourself, have it under contract. I like to also do a non-circumvent agreement, which basically is a protection period that says if you try to go around me and close on this property during this period after I've introduced it to you, you still owe me. They sign that is enforceable, okay? Now, what is even better than a non-circumvent agreement?
Where do you get a copy of that?
You can find some online, or your attorney can make that for you. Yeah. What is even better than a non-circumvent agreement? To file a memorandum of contract, yes, yeah. But what's even better than that?
Actually closing the deal.
Closing the deal? No, but then you got to close it twice if you don't want to close it twice, or what's even better? I'll tell you. You want to protect yourself. So a lot of investors are worried because investors don't have to sign or not required to sign a code of ethics to invest. What are you afraid of? You're afraid of someone's going to go around you to steal this deal from you, okay? Which happens all the time. Now, you can have them sign a non-circumvent, which is a stick, right? Is a stick that you can use in the event that they do something untoward. But what's the carrot you can use? The earnest money? No, they're not giving you earnest. They're just going to try and go. No, this is the filing, the non-circumvent. This is the stick. The carrot is this. This is what you want to say to make sure no one ever circumvents you, ever. If you like this deal, I'm working on 3 others just like it. Is that a carrot? Is anybody ever going to go around you if they think that you're going to be the source of making them a ton of money in the future? Never. Okay? Do not forget that. Carrot and stick. Carrot and stick. Take them to another. I don't care if it's your mom's house. Take down your pictures of you as a kid. Hey.
Well, what if you are buying your mom's house?
Still take down your pictures when you're a kid. Negotiate your wholesale fee with your end buyer. Sometimes you have to go back and forth, especially if they find additional repairs. To be clear, to stay within the law, you are selling your contract. You are not selling the property. Because if you try to sell the property and you are not licensed as a real estate agent, then now you are practicing real estate without being a licensed agent. This is a fine that Trek likes to hand out, and the fee has a comma in it, and the number before the comma is 5. Okay? This is a $5,000 fee. So be very clear in your wording. You are selling your equitable interest in the property. You are selling your contract. You are not selling the property. Is that very clear to everybody? There's one other thing that I want you to get. There are two things here. The other thing that you have to disclose, and this is ridiculous, but this is what they make you disclose. You have to tell them, I don't own the property that I am wholesaling you. Yes, that's right. Because if I owned it, I would be selling it to you. That's why I'm wholesaling it to you. I think that's part of the definition, but this is what the Texas legislature and TREC have agreed to be full disclosure when wholesaling a property, when you are not licensed as a realtor. Yes, sir.
So just to echo back, so if you're buying a contract from me, I have to actually tell you that.
Yes.
Like, with in the details.
Yes. Yeah.
Verbal?
Say that again.
I would say it verbally without question, but also in your assignment agreement, it needs to be written in there, because they can TREC will take you down on not saying it verbally and not writing it down. Okay?
Really, that's basically a he said, she said.
Oh no, TREC's on a recorded line.
But I'm saying, how would they know that you didn't tell that?
Because it's not in the document, they can show the document, it's not written in there.
So as long as it's
Two ways. All of your marketing and all of your verbal communication needs to be, you are selling your contract, you are selling your equitable interest. Yes, sir.
And at the beginning of the class, you said you had an example contract that would typically use for deals that you
So you'll always use the TREC contract whenever you're putting a property under contract for your wholesale agreement or your assignment agreement. TREC conveniently does not make an assignment agreement. There are many that are listed online. I will say, be very careful. You may have to insert your own wording, which is the wording that I just gave you, which is that you are selling your equitable interest in the property, that you do not own the property. Is that clear? Because the wholesale agreements that you'll find online are wonderful, and they probably work really great in whatever state whoever put it out there made it in. Texas is very unique in this particular aspect. Yes, sir.
I was out getting a membership. You were talking about the actual contract as something that you have to have and or assigns or whatever on the original contract.
The truth is that and or assigns is not a requirement for your contract, and the reason being is this, and this has been law tested. Because nowhere in the TREC contract does it say this contract is not assignable, it is therefore assignable. Now, most investors will still write and or assigns in the buyer section after their name or their company name. I still do. It's a personal choice. Step 10, substitute your name on the agreement with the seller for the end buyer's name. You can do a simultaneous close at your negotiated price with the seller. This can be done, and I say at closing, and the truth is it's right before closing. Again, depending on how much money you make, you may want to do 2 contracts, so a contract with you and the original homeowner. And if you're making an obnoxious amount of money, a ridiculous amount of money, then you're going to sign a new contract with your end buyer. Okay? If you're just making $5,000 or $10,000, then you're probably just going to sign that 2-page assignment agreement. Okay? Let's see, next step. Send the revised contract to the title company with your invoice. And again, I can't believe I have to write this here, but you have to let the title company know how much you're making. They don't just know, okay? Title company is really great at pushing paper, really great at pushing paper, doing their job, but if you don't give them a paper to push, i.e. an invoice, they're going to cut you out of the deal. Not on purpose, just because you just didn't tell them. I have seen investors not be able to get paid because they did not send an invoice to the title company. So it sounds ridiculous, but I got to put that on there. As many days before as you possibly can. Get paid on the HUD, your closing disclosure form from the end buyer, cash the check, and do it all over again. All right, let's see. What do I want to get? Your offer formula. So this is what I said was like Prego. It was in here. So the typical offer formula, 70% of your after repair value minus repairs minus your fee. Now the truth is that even if you get it at just 70% of ARV minus repairs, and even if you put it out there at 70% of ARV minus repairs plus your fee, $5,000 or $10,000, if you have a premium buyer, you might get it. Okay, I've seen properties where wholesalers have put them out that are 80%, 90% of ARV minus repairs. It's like, that's not a deal here. But for someone who's buying and holding for the long term, no, there's an opportunity there. Okay, so don't get too caught up on that. Let's see. The truth about wholesaling, guys, it's fun and sometimes easy. It's a great networking strategy, a great getting started strategy. The truth is there's very little risk, but the truth is it's hard to make a living as a full-time wholesaler because guess what? Whatever you offer, especially if you're doing 70% of ARV minus repairs minus your fee, if someone else who's going to take it down directly is coming in after you, they're not going to subtract out that fee. All right, so there's a little bit more, it's harder to get that lower price, right? So eventually we do see wholesalers graduate into some of these other strategies. And the truth is, you probably haven't read the book, The Millionaire Wholesaler, because the truth is, it's not been written, because the truth is that eventually people go again to these other strategies. So guys, I hope this was helpful for you tonight. Thank you for being here as part of the Investor Association, and we'll see you at our next meeting. Thank you guys. Good night.